Can you believe we're halfway through the year already? Time is flying. It's almost June. And since we're halfway through 2022, I figured that it would be a good time to check in and talk about the games that I played this year so far. Also, you may have noticed that I've been slacking on my reviews if you're not new to my channel, but if you are new, hi, my name's Delilah, aka ASSASSINA-san, welcome. 2022 has been weird. The beginning of the year, we got so many games kind of all on top of each other, week after week with new releases, with Sifu, Horizon Forbidden West, then Elden Ring, and then Final Fantasy Stranger of Paradise, and then Ghostwire Tokyo. It was just non-stop. And that's the reason why I slacked on my reviews, because I was kind of overwhelmed just creating content around those games. I did full playthroughs on YouTube and on Twitch of Elden Ring and Horizon, and it was just kind of a lot. Plus, to be honest, the reviews take up the most time and effort, but they don't really do as well as the videos that take less time and effort. So I figured, hey, why not chill out and then put all of my thoughts into one nice video. And so here we are, my little bite-sized mini reviews of the games that I've played thus far, including Sifu, Horizon Forbidden West, Elden Ring, Stranger of Paradise, Final Fantasy Origin, and Ghostwire Tokyo. I didn't get around to playing Tiny Tina Wonderland or the Kirby game or Pokemon Arceus. I may or may not get to those games. I wasn't completely interested in them. And in case you want more detailed thoughts on these games, I did write written reviews on geekshavegame.com, at least for most of these games. Okay, let's start with Sifu, which I actually did do a full video review, so you can check that out here. But I didn't do a full video review for the others, so we'll get into those as well. But yeah, Sifu remains to be one of my favorite games that's released this year. I highly recommend it. It surprised me with how good it is. The combat is sophisticated and challenging, it has realistic martial arts movements, and it makes the beat-em-up style of game feel extremely satisfying. Then the art direction blew me away with some amazing set pieces and trippy level design, all coupled with an amazing music score. The gameplay concept of aging up every time you die made this beat-em-up game feel like a roguelike, and essentially offered a unique gaming experience with extremely satisfying combat. But the weakest part of this game is the story, and even that simply felt reminiscent of many kung fu films. This is a must play. The next game I played this year is Horizon Forbidden West, which is probably the most graphically impressive game that has come out this year thus far. It improved upon everything from the first title in the series, Horizon Zero Dawn, and offered some intriguing narrative twists and world building. Even though I liked the story, some of the dialogue felt very drawn out and repetitive, but thankfully the character animations were at its best, and it made me feel more engaged in the dialogue than I would have been if the character animations were just okay. My biggest issue with this game isn't even the dialogue, it's the open world. It fell into that Ubisoft style open world trope with lots of check marks and padding that doesn't feel really substantial to the world or even worth spending time to complete. It's a shame that Horizon's open world offering is often overshadowed by another game that refreshes the open world formula. You know, Breath of the Wild in 2017 and now Elden Ring. Even though the RPG mechanics have improved a lot from the first game, there's still a lot of elements to this game that feels unnecessarily cumbersome to manage. Thankfully, the combat is still very solid and the new robot creatures are super dope. This is a game that I recommend, especially if you liked Horizon Zero Dawn, but I don't think it's a must play. Now let's talk about Elden Ring. Fuck dude. This game still lives in my mind after I platinumed it, and it probably will never leave. This is such an unforgettable experience. I was borderline obsessed. Elden Ring single-handedly made it difficult to enjoy any other game. Alright, I'm a little bit biased. I am a sucker for Souls games. It doesn't take much for me to be excited for these types of games. But the thing about Elden Ring is it took the best elements of all the Souls games from Software and mashed it all together in this game. Elden Ring has become one of the most refreshing open world experiences of all time. The only sense of direction I had of where to go next was my own curiosity, and the discovery never felt repetitive or unnecessary. I wanted to see every item, help every NPC, fight all 165 bosses, and complete all the quest lines, which actually were way more interesting narratively than any other Souls game. From Software managed to maintain its top-notch level design in the open world formula, and each region, cave, tunnel, and dungeon had its own unique art style and music. This game may not be as graphically advanced as, let's say, Horizon Forbidden West, but every corner of Elden Ring is like a painting. It's just a shame that there was no proper photo mode. It's so good that after platinuming it on the PS5, I immediately went to the PS4 version to not only platinum it again, but also to 100% it again. Believe me, I can gush about this game for hours. But gushing aside, I still think that this is a must play even for people who haven't previously dabbled into Souls games. And if you played Souls games before, like, bro, what are you waiting for? Alright, next let's talk about Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin. I don't know what's more surprising about this game, how fun the combat is or how cringy the dialogue can be. The dialogue was so cringe that I actually kind of loved it. The trailers do a good job in showing what this game is because the theme music literally plays all the time and chaos is said more than you might imagine from watching the trailers. This game's attempt to connect to Final Fantasy 1 would have been more compelling if it wasn't actually spoiled in the trailer. And even then, this connection isn't even explored until the last quarter of the game. Where this game truly shines is in its combat and its very job system that you can swap out at any time. So at the same time, you can be a swordsman and a mage, but if you want to swap out in the middle of a level to a berserker or some other class, you can do that without any issues. This feels like a Final Fantasy Neo game, and I would love to see more Final Fantasy games adopt this combat style. This game is super fun, especially if you're playing co-op with friends, and while I do recommend it, I don't think it's a must play, not even for Final Fantasy fans. The last game I'm gonna talk about is quite honestly a doozy, and it's Ghostwire Tokyo. This game aesthetically is totally up my alley, but the more I saw trailers on this and gameplay, and the more I even played the game, the less I actually liked it. It's another one of those checkmark open world games with lots of bloat and unsatisfying collectathon elements, and you would think it's cool because you're exploring Tokyo overrun by Japanese mythological spirits. Like, that seems super dope, and it is at first, but the enemies lack variety and exploring got old really quick. The combat appears to be kind of cool with the Doctor Strange-esque elemental weaving, but overall it lacked any substance and was not satisfying. It's a chill experience, but it's not even worth playing for the story, which is very boring and uninspired. I do not recommend this game, but I'm not gonna sit here and say it's terrible either. It's very okay. So those are pretty much the games that I played and completed that actually released in 2022. I have been working on other games through my backlog because there's not many games that are out and there's not many games that are gonna be coming out. But if there's anything that you played like Kirby or Tiny Tina Wonderland or Pokemon Arceus or any of the other games that I didn't mention, please let me know what you think of those games in the comments because I really want people to have an idea of what games are worth playing for them and what aren't. And I'll just say in summary, if you like open world checkmark games, you got two of them. You got Ghostwire Tokyo and you got Horizon Forbidden West. If you like soul-styled kind of games, you got Elden Ring, and Stranger of Paradise has some of it. And if you want a game that's just like a beat 'em up, super surprisingly artistic, and just very unique to every other game, go with Sifu. So that's it. Let me know what you guys played. Let me know what you think of my thoughts on the games that I just talked about. And I'm so sorry that the videos have been slower. I was a little bit burnt out after the full playthroughs of Elden Ring and Horizon. I hope you guys liked those if you tuned in. If you did, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And of course, I do plan to react to any of the new announcements happening this summer, so expect that. Later on, eventually, we'll hopefully be playing new games like Forspoken and Gotham City Knights, so you can catch that on twitch.tv/ASSASSINA_san, or you can go ahead and find at least the first hour of gameplay on YouTube. That's the plan moving forward for the rest of the year. I hope you guys are okay with that, and if there's anything else you'd like to see, feel free to let me know. I'm always open to ideas and trying new things, but the most important thing is that you guys take care of yourselves and each other.